Well, hello, and good morning, everybody. Wow, there was a lot of pre-Sunday family comments here, even before I went live today on this Sunday, the 24th of November. Happy Sunday, everybody. Andy Nichols from Two Legs here, hoping that you and yours are well. And for those of you that are here in the States, us Yanks, we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. I know everybody in the UK says, the hell, it's just another day, but yeah, big holiday coming up, and good to be here. Good to be here, and wow, let me just go say hello and good morning, everybody. David, Heidi, the MVP, Mom's here, Jeff, Tony, Tom Liverani, hello, Tom, Beatletti, Nick, Tony, there's Beatley Tone. Good afternoon to you, sir. Joe Mantaneo, and everybody else is here. Bill Leary, good morning. That's everybody right now. Well, good morning, good morning. Susan, there she is. So, good week for us Beatle fans in the last 2 weeks with Material World and the mono box dropping. Well, the albums, if you got them, which, surprise, surprise, have not arrived yet because, shipping, as I ranted last week about that. So, and it was a different week for Two Legs, too, because we did a live episode during the week. We didn't drop a proper episode on Saturday night. We did a live show with Luca Perazzi during the week to help him launch his new book, Music is Ideas. Hello, Matt. Hello, MBT. I don't know who that is, but we're going to keep an eye on it. Today is the anniversary of Freddie Mercury's passing. Yes, I remember it well. I was young, but I remember it. So, how's everybody doing today? Thank you. I couldn't wait. So I had to get the mono. I had to get the Capital, which I ordered, but of course isn't coming for a while yet. So I went to Target yesterday and grabbed it. So it was on our socials last night. So it is nice. It is very nice. Very nice. What I did notice too with the vinyl, it is blue, but if you hold it up to a certain way, it's kind of got like a marble-ish tint, which I don't know if you can maybe see this here on camera. Maybe you can't, maybe you can. But if you hold it up in the light, it's got a little bit of a marble look to it, which is pretty cool. Very enjoyable. And really, for the first time, mono LPs have been available since the 60s, brand new. Dino! Ciao! See you soon, man. See you soon. Yes, indeed. And, what else? Material World also came, which I've been enjoying. Now the Capitals are 30% off. Wow. Go figure. So those haven't arrived yet, but it's nice to see some of the fellow podcasters and YouTubers going through them. I know Mitch Axelrod and the gang did a presentation of it as well on their channel just to go through them all. And they're really done well, and they're reproduced with the inner sleeves exactly as they were. Thank you. I'm doing well. Yeah, thank you, Tony. Thank you. Yeah, even the reproduced inner sleeve, which is nice here for all of them, although they are a little bit of a different tint. And of course, nice essays by Bruce included in each one of them, so you got a whole lot slammed in here into one package, and I'll tell you, I'm more of a fan of the stereo, the Capital stereo mixes, but it's good. Hey, Dad, good morning. Nice avatar. Jeff asks, did you compare the Target Meet the Beatles with? I haven't done that yet because I only just got it yesterday. A being the monos, and they sound, I played it once last night and once this morning, and they both sound pretty much good and powerful, but I enjoy the stereo mixes more. But I tell you what, those monos are pretty powerful, and I was messaging with Beatley Tone last night on WhatsApp, and he likes it. He really likes it, and he has an unboxing video on his channel of the albums he got too, and it was really cool to hear a UK fan enjoy the American albums, because a lot of British people just kind of poo-poo it. They don't like it, but he could really appreciate it, and that was very refreshing to hear. Susan got the box from her local Blue Moose, and the Blue Meet the Beatles from the local Target. Yeah, and Luca's book as well, A Thanksgiving Feast. It's got to be the McCartney legacy. Got to be the McCartney legacy, hands down. Hands down. And of course, the documentary dropping on Friday, which I've heard mixed things about. Some things good. I know people that have seen it, and some people are like, with it. But I am sure it'll be another one. It's not going to be like a multi-series, which was why Get Back was so great, because it was deep and involved. This will probably be something, produced for the masses. And if you already watched that clip of Paul with the trailer, I think the Beatles posted it this week. He's telling that same old story about She Loves You, and his dad going, change this to, yes, yes, yes to yeah. We know that story so well. So I saw that, and once I saw that story, I'm like, okay, these are going to be stories that we have heard 1,000,001 times, but it's a new documentary, and they're going to be on it. So we will watch it. Let me go back and thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Tom had a great post on one of the McCartney fan pages on Facebook, which he does. So you post such great content on those pages, Tom, the pictures or the history of stuff. I love seeing your posts on the on that fan page. I can't remember which one it is, but I always enjoy your posts. And the one you posted about all the different bases were really cool. Of course, that again, the first two were my favorite. Those Ricks. Especially the first one. And now the second one he played on, which is the cover of the Legacy book, Volume 2. Indeed. Let me go back and check the comments here. Bill got the... Yeah. You got the whole box. You got the Beatles story for $120 and listened to that whole thing. I think I bought that thing and listened to it once. As I said before, the cover is better, is more enjoyable than the contents that actually are on there. Jeff, I haven't seen that. Yeah, I just picked that up, thankfully, to a tip from our friend Janet Davis. And I saw this at a fest, and I knew I wanted to get it, and it's from 1978, and it's a really good breakdown of the book, shot by shot. There's over 900 shots in A Hard Day's Night, and the book goes frame by frame. It's really a nice book. Least favorite McCartney album and why? I don't know. We recently took some flack on a social media post. Guy, a nice guy. He listens to a lot of stuff, but he says we're too negative on Two Legs. Two Legs. He said that Two Legs is all about criticizing Paul these days, which is so not true. I mean, do we criticize a little bit? Sure. We do criticize from time to time, but the guy made it out to seem that like all recent, and maybe we were. We did our top 10 least favorite songs. We did the show with Dino on Driving Rain, which gets a lot of flack. So if you haven't listened or watched any of our shows, I could see why somebody might think that, but I was initially put off by that. But I'm pressed to play right now. I don't know. Pressed to play, maybe. But yeah, that was, I don't know if you follow us on Facebook, and a gentleman said that, about the Luca post. And I was like, really? We're not really that negative. We're two of the most, I wouldn't say fanboys, but we enjoy a lot of McCartney, but if we don't like something, we're going to say it. We're going to speak our minds. Has Capitol indicated the significance? No, I wonder why they chose that color. Maybe Tom, to just mimic the, the font here on the LP, of the Capitol, the blue up here. Maybe that's why they went with the blue vinyl. Interesting. That's probably, if I had to guess, that's why. But I haven't read anything yet on that. David, hi David. David recommends the book on George Within You Without You by Seth Rogovoy. Okay. My George library of books is not that comprehensive. I have the main ones. Matt, you can get that thing pretty cheap online. I got it for like $18 on Amazon. Yes, House of Wax is an incredibly underrated song. I agree. I totally agree. See, but that's not a proper solo album. That's a standards album. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Anybody, how you all dived into your Material World boxes and vinyl? Finally, I was able to do, honestly, it got delivered last Monday, and I didn't touch the thing until Friday. which I had a busy week, but I just didn't get around to getting to it. So, Beatly Tone, no point in a podcast if it isn't honest. I would think so. And the gentleman and I had a nice exchange, and he was actually pretty complimentary after we had our little back and forth. But initially, he was like, "Wow, these guys are negative, and hopefully you bring some positivity and peace and love to the show, Luca." And I was like, "Whoa, dude, do you listen to our show? Do you watch our show?" I mean, Christ, we went gaga when We All Stand Together came out again on vinyl a couple of years ago for the 100th anniversary, and we showed it. I think we're okay. I think we're pretty much pro Paul. But thank you, Tony. And that's Beatly Tone, and he's got he has got video. You've got a video, Tony, on your review. You have a review yet of the mono LPs, or you just the unboxing? I know you have a video on your colored vinyl, which I saw as well. Let me go back here. Nick says, "Hi, Nick. Good morning. Looking forward to Beatles 64. I don't believe we can ever get enough of the Beatles. 60 years later, they just speaks volumes on their legacy. Two Legs is great. Don't change a thing." Thank you very much, Nick. We're not going anywhere. Jeff says, "I think it represents that the Meet the Beatles picture." Yes. Yeah, I think so. And the tint, that's actually a good point. And Bruce talks about that, the difference in the cover, right? In America, it is tinted blue, obviously, with the iconic photo here. It has blue tint. Compare that to With the Beatles, right? Obviously, the second album issued in the UK on the 22nd of November. The Beatles love that date. 2 albums out on that date, which is just the straight black and white versus the blue tint, which I think actually that's exactly probably why they did that. There's a little bit of a bluish tint to their faces here. If you look at the regular album, with the proper album With the Beatles, it's just black and white, which is a little more tasteful in my opinion. But you got to remember, in '64. All this marketing promotion, the Beatles are coming. We're going to mimic that after the British are coming. They did not. All these bigwigs were like, look, we got to capitalize on this right now because who knows if they're going to be around in a year. So that's how the Beatles were packaged. That they were packaged. They were not going to be around for a long time. So to hell with, album listings, or that's why it was done. All that stuff. Yeah, this person, I know who you are now, and now you're going to be gone because somebody told me who you were. So get a new alias there, clown. See you later, because now I know who you are. Fortunately, yeah, we get some clowns that like to, make anonymous names on here, and they don't say anything bad, but they just they like to be trolls. But you're gone. Have a nice day. See you later. Let me go back here. The least favorite interview? I don't know. Least favorite interview. There's a ton. Let me go back here. Okay. Tony got Material World as well, and he likes it. Okay. Bill says he got Material World 5 days after the release date. New mix sounds great. Yes. Haven't gotten to the Blu-ray yet, but I do love the Sail Away Raymond bonus 7-inch that's in there. That's fantastic. That's probably one of the best things about the box set, hearing that George Guide vocal. Dino says, "I don't consider your channel content negative with Paul bashing. It has to be balanced. There cannot be any fan who thinks everything Paul's released is 100% brilliant." And the man would tell you the same thing if you asked him that today. He'd say, "Oh, okay, that was a Duff album." Just an unboxing, right? They have not been fully, they're not full reviews of the music yet. Okay, I look forward to seeing those, mate. It's all subjective. I tend to find you pro Paul. Us Brits tend to be, yeah, and that's true, but you Brits tend to revere him a little bit more, especially when it comes to supporting the Beatles and Paul, especially in the charts. Now and Then performed much better over there than it did here. So it seems like, it's kind of, he's become like the grandfather. I guess that everybody likes it. Matt says, still need to get the Material World set, and it should, as it's my second favorite George album. The new Cure album. Okay, there's some 80s for you. David says, if Two Legs was that negative in the end, he hasn't listened to the audio. Oh boy. Hello, David. Oh, that's what you said. If you thought Two Legs was any, then yeah. Tony loves the England's phenomenal pop combo. Exactly all about the marketing, right? And it really wasn't the first album. It was just the first album by Capitol, right? Because, of course, we already had Introducing the Beatles, but Capitol was already doing Cancel Culture in 1964. Pay no attention to that album, because that album is just trash. It's on a bad label. This is the first real Beatles album. There's that marketing machine wheeling up there. Maureen says it's very expensive. I've gotten some of those early Beatles. Yeah, you can get them. Because again, these albums were, they sold millions, right? So, supply and demand. You're going to find a lot of them, and a lot of them are going to be beat up. I mean, how are you going to, if you want a mint copy of a mono 1964 Meet the Beatles, you're going to pay a couple $100 for it, because people did not buy records to collect them, as my dad always likes to tell me a lot. We bought these records to play them and bring them to parties. We weren't collecting them. They weren't like museum pieces, which I totally get. Now, 60 years later, it's like, okay, we have to actually treat these like museum pieces. But back in the day, go to a party and bring a record over. And I totally understand that. And growing up, that was the one album missing from my dad's vinyl collection, was the White Album. He had all these Capitol albums, and I'm going through them all and learning them. I'm like, Dad, where's the White Album? You got all these records in here. And I'm like, when I learned about like what the Beatles albums were, I'm like, this one's not here. And he's like, oh, I must have brought it to a party and forgot it. I'm like, that one of all albums you forgot? Come on. Dino, Mind Games. Yeah, on the Giants, yeah, gotta go. So long, see you later. Not really a fan of, I think they should have played Drew Lock, but they're putting Tommy Cutlets in there for monetary reasons to keep people in the seats and keep, people going there. But it was time. Sorry, everybody over the seas. We're talking sports there for a minute. Tom said, I'm surprised. Yeah, I know. That was a bit of a bummer. That was a bit of a bummer. It was exclusive to that. No, Bill, not really. Maybe I'll take a listen to it. Obviously, now knowing the Mal history with Badfinger, I could listen to Bad. I'm not really a huge Badfinger fan, and I know, we have our friend there, and he always helps us out with everything, Tom Brennan, on all things Badfinger, because he is like the foremost authority on all things Badfinger. But other than the hits, and maybe Tomorrow when they were the Ivies, which I thought was a great track, and the hits, that's really all I've really listened to Badfinger for. I have the greatest hits. But maybe I'll listen to them a little bit more differently now that we have the Mal connection with that. Introducing the early Beatles. Somebody said that should have came out too. Yeah. Matt, I'm not going to disclose that publicly on the air, but, you'll know. You'll know when we'll have some content on the channel for sure of when we're there. Maybe go live, do a reaction. I'm still working out what I'm doing. Yes, keep losing. Susan said Introducing wasn't trash to Capitol. Exactly. And I love that too. You read the back disclaimer, the back of the hype promo paragraph on the back of the early Beatles. Well, these songs first came out in 1964 on a different label, but now we're here to present them to you in glorious Capitol packaging. What everyone needs to do ASAP. Write your name on the yes. Go on there and say John Smith, Kim Smith, which you did. That's what you did. Thank you, Tony. For Paul's concerts in Manchester. David only got the Capitol albums, which I hadn't managed to buy over the years. Ironically, 2 of the 3 I have purchased have skips on some tracks, unlike the beat-up copies released originally. Yeah, and did you get those, did you buy those as expensive imports back in the day, David? I know Tony and I were talking about that. You could get, American albums in England, but they probably were a lot of money, and they probably weren't in great shape, Top 3 favorite George Harrison solo songs, off the top of my head. Cracker Box Palace. I Oh, God, I go back to the show I did with Ken Michaels. Any of those. Behind That Locked Door, If Not For You. Top 3? Yeah, Cracker Box Palace, someplace else. Cracker Box Palace definitely my favorite, though. Yeah, but I must say, the Material World box, I'm gonna transition to that now. Hold on. Just Meet the Beatles over here for a second. I'm just still reading it, and David and we had a great text, conversation all week about this. What a set this thing is. This is just incredible. Incredible box. Lovely, thick, produced, was so damn well. And the photographs in it, oh my God, off the charts, high quality. However, I do have it, and this is David pointed this out. I got to give him credit, but now that I started reading it, I get it. So with Material World, you're getting. Oh, David said he bought them as imports. Okay, you did buy them as imports. As David said, we texted during the week, and I didn't know this until I started reading it yesterday. Comes with this little booklet here called Recording Notes, right? And it's like 10 pages, not even. Yeah, 10 pages. And it talks about every take of every song. The days of recording, which were 2 weeks basically, 15 days of recording. And they're giving you real detail on like all the different takes, right? So, okay, day 10, who can see it? Takes 1 through 94. And they're giving you they're giving you the highlights of all these takes that are not included in the set. So it's like a teaser. It's nice, but you're reading it and you're like, oh, well, on this take, this happened. We're like, well, what's included in the set here? And that was frustrating. And exactly. It's a great detail, but you're reading it and you're like, well, that's great that they're describing these takes and what's being said and everything else like that. But, yeah, I think we have a troll and you're going to be gone too. Sorry. It's just your questions are just a little too vague. You're asking real kind of silly, stupid questions, and you got to go. If you were legit, I'm sorry, but my senses said that you were a little bit of a fraud. So you got to go. Go on another channel and do that to somebody else. And takes that are remakes. I want to hear that. Yes. Yeah. Susan says, I saw Badfinger live when I was in college at UNH. People in the audience couldn't believe we were in the presence of people who actually knew the Beatles. The show was great. Hey, how you doing? Hi, Joan. Hey. That's a bad song. That's a bad song on Pipes of Peace. But yeah, I've listened to the vinyl a few times. Haven't really started reading the book yet, but damn, the photographs in here. I'm just going to show you a few right now. Amazing quality on some of these photos. High gloss photos of George. Really good, just a great job. High gloss. And all the usual stuff you see in a repackaged archive. Reproduction of the lyrics, the tape boxes, all that good stuff. But it's fantastic. So, really, really great stuff in here. Fantastic. So, again, the book. Yeah, did you read the whole book yet? I've listened to it. on vinyl 2 or 3 times since Friday. I do love the outtakes. I mean, the remix is good. I play, and I think you hear it a lot better on, because this is a very soft album, right? It's a quiet album. So a remix by Paul Hicks is going to bring those things up a little bit. You're going to hear George's vocal a little more, louder in spots, and I noticed that. So I've enjoyed it. It is a somber record, aside from a couple of the poppy tracks, but it is definitely. Tony says the recording notes book is invaluable. The big reveal is that Phil Spector was at the sessions almost every day. Well, I didn't think that he had a lot. I mean, obviously he was there every day looking at the notes, but he's not really credited. And I think he might have been there every day, but we know how insane Phil Spector could have been, so George was probably like, okay, you're not really doing anything here, so I'm not going to credit you on it. So, But it was surprising to see that he was so involved in the sessions. In the book, I agree. Hello, buddy. I think what I've heard so far, I'd wait for the whole thing. And that's why they do these things, right, David? That's why it makes you appreciate an album that you previously dismissed. And I think that's a lot better than a crate. You know, it's much more affordable than that. Yeah, I saw your comment. Yeah, not your favorite. I saw your comment. Yeah, it's probably, I definitely still like 33 1/3 after All Things Must Pass. I enjoy it. I enjoy the record. I do. But am I going to rush to it and now say, oh, it's my favorite because it's got this box set? No, but I enjoy it a lot more. Yeah, yes, I am. Yes, I am, because you don't seem like you're very sincere. If you are, I apologize. I've never seen you on here, and neither has anybody else in the chat here. I'd Have You Anytime as a classic with a moving guitar solo, which I believe was played by Clapton. Yeah, and co-written by Bob Dylan. The 2006 one is still nice and enjoyable. But I did see your comment, Jeff, about that. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And other stuff too, I'm sure. Wink. Hi, Wink. Material World's a deep album, but exactly. I wouldn't call it Plastic Ono Band. I think it's a little bit more enjoyable than that. You don't think it's a very fun album? I think it's okay. You know, but I'm not going to say that it's this, oh, it deserves to be reevaluated. I'm glad it got this treatment. I do. Mark, I don't know. I don't think Dark Horse needs this treatment. What say you all? It's me, Dino from Croatia. I'm okay. All right. I've never seen you on here, pal. I apologize. Peace and love. Okay, you're from Croatia. Maybe some of the language barrier seemed off. I've never seen you on here on Sundays though. So, all right. No to Dark Horse. I don't know what albums. How do you repackage the rest of George's albums? Hey, partner. What? Like this? Like in a box like this? I don't know. Well, maybe if they package it with the live stuff from 74, maybe. Again, John and George only had finite amount of albums, right? There was a great article. Did anybody see that article? Sean Lennon was featured in an article on People magazine. They interviewed him about basically curating his father's legacy now that Yoko is up there in age. It was a really, really, really good article that Sean posted, it was under the John Lennon socials, and it was in People magazine. Listen to me, People magazine, People whatever, online. You know, when was the last time anybody bought a copy of People magazine? But it is a good article. Yes, you're Dino V from the UK via Italy, which I love. I think that's so cool. We got Deep Blue on the 2006 reissue. I wonder if it isn't on this box set. So I wonder if a forthcoming Bangladesh reissue. Maybe. Listen, if it's done that way, fine. Now, my partner there in crime, he got the clear vinyl from Amazon.com from Material World. That's my little gripe about the box set, I must say. So, don't drop it. All right, good. You got the box, right? Okay, and you've got this wonderful Apple Studios box, tape box, the whole nine. And I love how it was recorded at Savile Row, which I think is so cool, right? But when you open it up, I kind of was expecting a 2LP reproduction of the album sleeve, and you don't really get that. You get sleeve inserts for the records. Hold on. You don't get the actual album cover. All you get are these little inserts. That's it. And I thought that was kind of a little bit of a different way to do it. You know, you open the box and you think the records are going to be in there, you know? It's just different. You're just getting these two little sleeves. And then obviously this is for the DVD, the CD, the CDs and the Blu-ray and Sail Away. So I just thought that was a little different to do it that way. David's saying the vinyl is packed the same way. I don't know about that, buddy. The 8 LP thing, I mean, you still have them, but they're in there. But the album cover is reproduced, isn't it? Oh no, you're right. You're right. You are right, actually. Yes, it is. You open it up and the LP. Yes, you are right. Thank you. No problem. Luca Perazzi's a great guy. See, yeah. Sorry, pal. Tony, I've heard the deluxe treatment as discussed by Danny in an interview with Billboard is Bangladesh is next. Yes, Bangladesh is next. And then they're going to work on the Dark Horse tour, which will be cool. They couldn't afford to do the sleeve. It's only like $177. Good point. Good point. Good point. Let me go back here to Bill. Bill Leary says, if the Monkees 60s albums get box set streaming, then John and George, yeah, well, you know, hey, I'll let Detroit, Michigan answer that question. Tom, just send him the Monkees albums. Just send them right to him. He'll learn. Let me go back here. 33 and a third. Yes. I agree. Wink says, all things Cloud9, 33, and is all a new fan would need to start off. I love extra texture. I know many others don't. Yeah, I agree. Big time. Big time, Matt. I agree. So, God, this thing's going to fall. As I mentioned, Tom got the clear, and I opted for the purple. And Tony had this on his website as well. A little bit bummed out in the shipping here with this one. So the record's great, but it came with like that bend in the polyline sleeve. No good. No good. Pay good money for this stuff. That is an infamia. That should not come. That should not be. Whatever. The record's fine. But it's nice. And I played this one too. The purple. Really nice. Very well done. Colored vinyl. So you've got the 3 variants of the color here now, and it's, you know, picture discs still play like crap, but colored vinyl they seem to turn the corner with that now. They have. So plenty to dive through in this as well. That's right. Mitch Axelrod confirmed that last Sunday, Susan, that if you did buy it in store, you got a little small mini poster with it, which did not come with this, which is a shame. It would have been nice if it had. Of course, they give you the reproduction of the brown sleeve and the other sleeve as well to put in there. You know, obviously with the credits and the lyrics as originally reproduced. So it's a nice set. If you're going to throw a box set together and it's going to be 200 and change for the rest of George's album, fine. It did not. No, Matt, it did not. The purple did not come with a poster. Tom says, I heard that the vinyl disc doesn't fit in the paper sleeve. Is that true? I have not tried that yet. I haven't tried that yet, Tom. You know, with the insert, the paper sleeve they gave, I have not tried that yet. Brad, I don't understand Tom's aversion to the Monkees. I mean, besides Mike Nesmith, who was, you know, one of my mom's faves, you've got Boyce and Hart, Harry Nilsson, Paul Williams, Neil Diamond, and Carole King among their writers. Yes. I think that, listen, I like the Monkees hits. I'm not going to listen to all their albums, but maybe I should. But they have some good tracks. But, I mean, I'm not going to listen to 3 albums in a row by the Monkees. I'm not going to do that. But their songs, their hits, I think are fantastic. I think everybody should watch for a little bit because this is all connected. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Go watch the documentary, Who is Harry Nilsson and Why is Everybody Talking About Him? And you'll see the connection to the Monkees there. And Mickey Dolenz as well. And ties with John, too, obviously. That is one of the best documentaries of all time. Tony says no poster in store in the UK. Well, not at HMV anyway. Glad to see that HMV. I was curious if there was going to be if they could get Meet the Beatles on the blue vinyl. And Tony told me the other last night that they do have it there at the HMV. Yeah, I'm talking about the monkeys, so Mom's happy. Dino's has a question. This night, 38 years ago, I was in London to see Paul play live. Where was I and what 38 years ago? You'll have to tell us. Jeff, peace out, brother. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you for being here. One of our Sunday regulars there. All right, Dino, since we're not writing a biography on your life story, you'll have to tell us. I don't have books on Dino V here at my house. I have books on the Beatles, not on Dino V. You got to tell me. I know you're connected and you're like one of the best fans of all time, but I don't know. Yes, on Dark Horse, it's always interesting to me the love of an album based on it if you know it from real time versus discovering it like 10 or 15 years after the release. I'm all in on Material World. So, Joan, you're saying that you did not know it at the time and you discovered it later. Okay. So, like, Joan, are you new to the Solo George stuff? Like in the last, you didn't discover it at the time? And Joan and I, we've been kind of talking this past week, and she just prefers the solo stuff to the Beatles, which, hey, that's totally allowed. Did the Dino question is Only Love Remains at the Royal? Okay. So, well, there you go. There you go. Well, listen, now we can consult Tony for questions on Dino. I do remember you telling us on the show, though, that you were there, though. I remember. And then you went to the Royal Command performance of Only Love Remains. I think that was a great story. And I remember when you were on the show, you told us about going there and seeing them and queuing up and all that. Oh, okay. You did buy them all as they came out. Okay. Brad, I watched an unboxing video and they tried unsuccessfully to get those paper sleeves to fit. They stuck. Yeah. Well, they tried and they didn't get it. They didn't get it right. That's unfortunate. I'm just going to leave them in the polyline sleeves, though. I'm not going to do that. To Matt's question here, it would be nice if the inner sleeve was polyline. Yes, exactly. Oh, God. Wink. Sorry, I think Wink asked this before. John has Double Fantasy stripped. What would your choice for Paul to have an album stripped down and released? I think maybe Press to Play. Well, he's following suit now with that, with Band on the Run, with underdubbed, stripped down, underdubbed, whatever you want to call it. And, well, that's kind of already out there as a bootleg, but it's not great. An album totally stripped down that has over-the-top production, I don't know. Maybe Tug of War. Maybe Tug of War stripped down, I think would be cool to hear. I would enjoy that. I enjoyed the 2015 remix, but I think Tug of War would be cool. Or London Town stripped down, yeah. I'll give him a shot. I gotta say, a friend of mine during the pandemic, we had this little song challenge thing, and we would sing. We would send in songs that we would kind of just vote on whether we liked it or not. And he sent in a song called "What Am I Doing Hanging Around" from Pisces, Capricorn, whatever that album is. I think, and that was a great song. That was an awesome, awesome song, and which I did not know, sung by Mike Nesmith, which I thought was a great song. Like all the stuff, all the production taken off of it, like say on Band on the Run, without all the horns and all that stuff. Without all the production on it, like bare bones. Yeah, but that's kind of a folky album anyway. I don't know how that would sound stripped down. Yeah, that's why I think albums that are really, 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 really full on production, if they're stripped down, that's where you're going to sound different. Exactly. And I think Tug of War would be my choice for that. But take any of them. Yes, and Tom, yeah, that's the latest series in the HMS bootleg series. If you follow out there, so that's out there now too, and listen to some of that as well. A couple of things that have never really snuck out before, which was enjoyable on that. And Tom and I were corresponding about that. Great song. I was and I really should. I like the Monkees enough to listen to them. So I should listen to all their albums from start to finish. Mike Nez was great. His country, yes. And even had some of his first National Guys later on Monkey albums, yes. Tom's like, you're talking about the Monkees. What are you doing? Let me go back to Rich here. Rich says, I hope they do all of George's albums, including Gon Troppo. So few albums from George. Yeah, and we're going to apply the Lennon philosophy there, because they're both ones that are have been gone for many, many years. So, and they only have X amount of albums. And even in George's lifetime, his recording activity was so frenetic, especially it was he did it a lot in the 70s, and then he slowed down in the 80s. He only had 2 albums in the 80s with Gon Troppo and Cloud 9, and then the Wilbury stuff. So there's not much out there. So they should be. Now, we don't need them. We're not going to turn this into a Ringo thing because we talk enough about Ringo, but that Ringo Deluxe stuff should be at least Ringo and maybe Goodnight Vienna. That's it. So sorry. What's that you're doing? See? Play on words there. Give Sean the reins. Yes. Yeah. That's what in that article in People, that's what they talk about. Bottom 3. Somewhere in England, Dark Horse and Gon Troppo. I like Somewhere in England. UK football update. Liverpool FC win and top of the league, pulling away. And my team, the Dirty Leeds, win. Okay. You'll never walk alone. Be nice to be over there again soon. Let's go back here. But let me see here. Make sure I had all the comments here. Yeah, so my set for the mono albums shipped from the Beatles store, and who knows when I'll have it. I don't, it's still being prepared. So maybe I'd like to have them before Thanksgiving. We'll see. Mike Nesmith wrote Different Drum. Linda Ron. Yep. Good song. Marmite. Yes. Marmite. Of course. But I'm looking forward to hearing them all. Yeah. Love Somewhere in England. Love Life Itself. Yep. And we talked about all that. So the mono albums, and maybe I can convince my partner in there in crime to get them, because he's still dipping his toes in the water with the early Beatles. He bought this, but I got to get him on board. And I got to be honest with you. I think the later Beatles stuff is rightly praised. I was talking to somebody else about this the other day. You listen to, from Pepper, Mystery Tour, White Album, Abbey Road, Let It Be. They are like enshrined on all the Beatles music is, right? But those albums in particular get a lot of the attention. Go look at the numbers on Spotify and streaming. A lot of that comes to that. But recently, I'd say in the last 2 years, I've listened to more early Beatles than later Beatles, like 62 to 65 and 66, because that era gets kind of overlooked. So it's nice now to see things like Hard Day's Night coming out on white vinyl, things like that. Seeing and having those tracks remixed on the Red last year that were never done before, that are gonna be from Rubber Soul. We've had so much time with the later Beatle albums and the box sets with them to now go back and hear the early stuff again, remixed in a new way. It's awesome, all of it. B-sides, we actually did an appearance, Tom and I. It's not up yet, but we actually did an appearance on the Blotto Beatles podcast, and those guys are just a proper audio podcast, and they had us on to discuss "I'm Down," which was the B-side to Help, and we had a great chat with those guys. It's not up yet, but it'll be up in a few weeks. But if you enjoy that, podcast, those guys are great. It's just you have to, but it's not on YouTube though. We had a great chat with those guys just on a B-side called "I'm Down." So we're like, you listen to this stuff and it's like the early Beatles stuff is damn good too. It really is. And I just think it's just nice to come back to it and listen to stuff like from Beatles 6 or Beatles for Sale and go through those albums. I think so. End of 2025. I think so. Joe says, I think you'll... Okay. Yeah. No, I was not. Let's see here. I will, Joe. I will. I absolutely will. Susan says, I'll never understand why these online stores can't get pre-orders to customer. Exactly. I was saying this. I was just saying this the other day. Like, you can't get these done enough time to get these out on my doorstep on release date. Inexcusable in 2024. It really is. The latest magazine is amazing, featuring Paul's adventures outside. Yes, I did see that. That's out there now too. It is, but I wasn't. So, again. Yes, Matt, it's a perfect time to celebrate early Beatles, and the Capitol albums are bites. Exactly. We're talking albums that are less than 30 minutes long. 28 minutes, 26 minutes. You know, the Beatles' second album. That's one of the best records of all time. And one time where Capitol got it right. That and Rubber Soul. From your time in Liverpool, what's your favorite Scouse expression? Wind your neck in, come Ed, or something else. I have to say, it's probably when they say, when you're walking down the street and you just see someone and they go, you all right? And I'm like, what are you asking me? Yes, I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm walking. What they were saying is hello. That's my favorite expression. You know, you get into a cab or something and the guy says, you all right? That I love. I love that. Because for the first 3 weeks, I'm like, why are all these people asking me if I'm all right? I am. I'm good. They're just saying hello. Bob's your uncle. That's not. That is a more of a UK thing. You know, that's a good one too. Mrs. Dilber, Bob's your uncle. Yes. Bill. The early Beatle albums were overshadowed even in the early 80s when I went to the department stores and they had Beatles comps and Abbey Roads and Pepper. Exactly. And I think that over time, that's what's going to happen. And as maybe these anniversaries kick up, and that's all that's left to be done now, we got to go backwards now. Rubber Soul, Help, Beatles for Sale, Hard Day's Night, With the Beatles. Please, can you imagine the next 5-8 years of all those getting the great treatment? That'll be awesome. Yeah. Yes, you did. Oh, you do? Okay. Thought it was a Scouser only thing. Brad says, it took me a while to understand. Bob's your uncle. Well, obviously that reference is from A Christmas Carol, but I remember being in class in Liverpool and hearing that. My professor said, oh, you've got 2 weeks to get this essay done and blah, 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 and turned in. And if you get it turned in within a fortnight, which I learned was 14 nights, which was 2 weeks, Bob's your uncle. And I'm like, wait, what did he say? What's that mean? You know, fortnight, 14 nights. Oh, it did make you laugh. Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah. Okay. All right. So it wasn't exclusive to Liverpool then. All right. Well, plenty of them. There were plenty of them. Just hearing just getting used to the accents, and the differences in accents from 10 miles down the road. I remember there was it's a big thing in England called the Grand National. I think it's sometime in the spring. Big horse racing. And I remember being in the Cavern one day when that was on. The Grand National was on. And all these big guys in suits came into the pub, all dressed up. All these big guys from Birmingham. And they're like, oh, all these guys come up from Birmingham to come here and bet. Because they want to bet on the races, right? In the Grand National. And all of a sudden, I'm just hanging in there. And I'm like, what are I couldn't understand a word they were saying. So even from Birmingham, you know, which is where Ozzy's from, and so many great acts are from Birmingham, but that accent is tough to freaking figure out, man. I couldn't understand a word those guys in suits were saying. Not a word of it. I'm like, what the hell are they saying? And I just got used to listening to Liverpool accents. Now here comes all these wealthy guys in suits. Here, and we're watching, the Grand National race. No hairs on a seagull's chest, as Jim Mack said. That's right. Blind in an ear. We have alternatives to Bob's your uncle. Bob's your auntie's live-in lover. Good comment here. Yes, there is somebody mentioned this too on another podcast. The Beatles story, for all of its nonsense, hear their story and this fake American, accent, blah 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 crap. You actually do hear legit live Beatles music from the Hollywood Bowl show. You're right. And you do hear a little bit of twist and shout. So the only merit of the Beatles story is you've got a few seconds of twist and shout from a Hollywood Bowl. Other than that, bin it. Oh, that's another one my professor used to say too, bin it. If I was writing something that wasn't good or reading something that wasn't good, he would say bin it. I'm like, what? Meaning trash it. Bin it. Here's another local colloquialism. I made for the end of this as my guy friend went home to watch the Lions game. That's right. Hello, Lynn. Good morning. Susan. My biggest problem with the 64 box is that it's missing one of my top 10 Beatle favorites, There's a Place. Thanks to Capitol not including on the Beatles. Yes. Yeah, that was a misstep not putting There's a Place on that at all. That actually did not get a Capitol release until, I want to say, Rarities in 1980. Dustbin lid. Yes. We take our dustbin lid seriously and piss off if you don't like it. I don't know. Maybe one of the people overseas can answer that one. Probably something nasty. Probably. I don't know. Oh, this is fun. Good. John said, Bob's your uncle, and that's that. Means and that's that. Yeah, exactly. As I learned. Although in A Christmas Carol, when Scrooge gives her the money, she screams, "Bob's your uncle," because she was happy. She got paid. Brad, I hope if and when Peter Jackson fixes the Star Club tapes, they make a big deal out of it so these youngsters can see what rockers they really were. These youngsters, what are you channeling Ed Sullivan there, Brad? Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse. How are you, buddy? Give this guy's channel a like and subscribe. He's got some great content too. Happy Sunday, Andy. The Playhouse is still blasting the Blue Meet the Beatles and awaiting the box. Yet have all the originals. Episode 5 debut today. Hope you watch. I will be checking it out. Good guy there, Paul. Jim. Wow, for $300, I can finally own a segment of Twist and Shout on LP. Exactly. Now, somebody said to me, "Oh, you're not going to spend $300 on the box, yet you bought the Mind Games Cube and you have the Harrison crate." That's different. It's solo Beatles, and solo Beatles is a different thing. Solo Beatles, I listen to more than the Beatles. So if there's going to be an exclusive box set for a solo Beatles album, 99.9% I'm going to be all in for that. This seemed a little bit extreme. Each album was $30 on its own. $329 was the original asking price for the whole thing, plus tax and everything else, I think, too. So now you're talking more money to get that box and the booklet from Bruce. No thanks. And to get just the Beatles story. Exactly, Jim. I agree with you. No, I think that was a waste of money. I don't need to have a box and the Beatles story to do it. I'll take the 6 albums proper as they are and enjoy them because just judging from listening to Meet the Beatles last night, it was fantastic even in mono. Even in mono, it was great. Dustbin lid, according to Tony, is Cockney rhyming slang for kid. As used in the song The Other Me, I acted like a dustbin lid. Yeah. Exactly. Total waste. Total waste. Now, Susan, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I did not see. Why am I going to get a box? I'm never going to play the Beatles story. I have a copy of it on my shelf in there, and I've never played it. I played it once when I was a kid. That's it. And I'm not gonna warrant an extra $120 to get that when I can get the 6 albums. That's just it. Joe Wisby of the Books Beatles podcast. How are you? Andy just bought Hard Day's Night US Mono. Finally got my hand on Ringo's theme. There you go. There you go. And Joe Wisby, if you don't know, does the Books Beatles podcast, and he recently had on Elliot Mintz, who just wrote the book John, Yoko, and Me, which I finished last weekend, which was a very, very easy, good read, and he had a very, very good interview, and Elliot's made the rounds, and check him out. And he's been on our show once upon a time. Maybe we're going to have him on again soon. But Joe, thanks for being here today. Stephen Stills auditioned for the Monkees. Wow, did not know that, Joe. Thank you. Frankie's Crisp. Yes, that's one nice thing. I remember talking to Womack about that at one of the fests when that box set came out. And he's like, doesn't it sound so good now to hear Mal doing the, when you hearing the, doing the Ballad of Frankie the Crisp and hearing Mal sing it now? That remix. I'm not a fan of the remix so much, but I enjoy the Sir Frankie Crisp on that box set. Then because that part of it was buried. It is. Jim says he already owns various 60s pressings, Canadian, Capital. Exactly. Oh, so there is no book in the box. I thought there was going to be a big essay by Bruce Spicer in there. I thought so. Maybe not. Let me go back here. Mixed a couple of comments. Jim said, still waiting for Ringo's quote. Beatles bootlegs put out by US. Apple, are you? Yeah, exactly. Nick, did you check out I saw that. Somebody sent me that. Jack White and St. Vincent joining Paul for the end at one of his recent concerts. I saw that. Very cool. Maybe we'll get some guests over there in the UK. We'll see. Okay. Brad says he watches a lot of reactor videos, and while almost all the younger people love the Beatles, some of them don't think of them as a rock band, because a rock band to them is Led Zeppelin or Queen. You go listen to Meet the Beatles in 1964 and tell me what kind of music that is. It's a rock band. It's a rock band. I can't either. No way. But hey, it happened. When Stills didn't make the Monkees, he told his pal Peter Tork to give it a shot, so the story goes. Okay. David says, consider this. The Beatles Mono 2014 vinyl AAA set with 14 records in the box was $2.99. Yeah. Wow. But again, adjusted for inflation, I couldn't afford that thing in 2014. No way. I was lucky enough if I could have, I don't even have any of those any of the mono reissues. I have the stereos that came out in 2012, but I bought those individually. I didn't buy that, and I didn't get the mono CD set until some years later, because I think I got it for like $150 to get them on CD. But I know that's 11 years ago now, 10 years ago, adjusted for inflation, it's crazy. Tom says, and I love her from Hard Day's Night. Yes, I've heard that, the no echo now on a Hard Day's Night. So Tom, you got all the vinyl, I'm assuming? Or did you get the box set? What did you go for? David says, did you have budget music label for music play? Yes. Yeah, we had, well, Music for Pleasure, I have a couple of those. Pressings, MFPs, right? But I have a Mind Games on a Music for Pleasure, something else too, I think. But I do have that. I just saw that Trump is initiating a line of guitar. What? Oh, God. Anytime, my friend, anytime. Best Beatles value box set for solo. Andrew from Parlogram has a great short on his channel. If you look at the shorts, and I know we don't do shorts on two legs. He rated the top 10 things you need to have the best Beatles collection. But that's just something different. Best Beatles value box set solo for budget collectors. I have to think on that one, Jim. These days, I don't know. I'm not sure what's available. I mean, streaming, or you looking to get it? Things are hard to get. I'm going to circle back to that one. I'm actually going to write it down and come back to it. And if I don't get to it today, I'll remark on it maybe when I go live. I gotta give that one some thought. But thank you for asking it. Owen, did I read Leslie Ann Jones' book on McCartney? A bit, no. But maybe Joe Wisby has. Joe, have you? Let us know. Susan says, I have a bad feeling that only the remixed Beatles songs will be available in the future. Ooh, you think they're going to just pull all those? I don't think that's going to happen, Susan. I think the kid goes on their phone, they look at 1967 to 70, that's the one they're going to go to. But they could go to Magical Mystery Tour and listen to the 2009 stereo remaster. I don't think that's ever going to get exercised. I think it'll always be available. No monos? What do you mean there, Pop? I don't have them yet. There's lovely shipping people haven't shipped them yet. Oh, okay, you're talking, you have the CD set. Okay. Yes. I do love that And I Love Her, though, where you just hear, it's not double tracked. It's the single track vocal. She wrote one on Lennon. We'll peruse. Well, if anybody will find out, Owen Ling will. There was an untrue rumor that went around for years that Charlie Manson auditioned for the Monkees. He, of course, was involved with the Beach Boys. Certainly was. And actually wrote a song that ended up being on the 2020 album called Never Learn Not to Love, which is what it got retitled as. Dark song. When he wrote it, it was called Cease to Exist. And then they changed the name of it to called Never Learn Not to Love. But yeah, Charles Manson is credited on a Beach Boys record. Well, probably not credited, but he did help write that song. Oof. Beatles mono box LP, long overdue in second release. Yes. Yeah. Just thinking. You could probably get the Capitol album, the U.S. Capitol albums, the long boxes on Amazon for fairly cheap these days. That's not that you don't have to break the bank to get those, Jim. Just thinking outside the top. No, the U.S. The Capitol albums from 2004 and 2006, those are relatively inexpensive to get those. I've heard that the echo chamber effect was more prevalent on Capitol stereo releases than the mono. Anyone know definitely? I do not. Tony asks, did the U.S. albums in stereo have terrible panning that the U.K. ones had? I generally prefer stereo. Yes, some of them did. Not so much in like Rubber Soul, the U.S. Rubber Soul stereo has some bad panning in it. It does. But they do have some of it. Still talking about Stephen Stills here. Crooked teeth and receding hairline took him out of the running for the Monkees. Being a TV show, image was everything. Right. You got it. Thank you, Jim. I'm glad you're here. Me too. I don't think they're going to pull them down, Susan. I really don't. I think they'll always be available. Nick says, do you think with Mal technology, Giles could take another shot at Pepper? Why? There's no need to. Oh, you're talking about your albums. No, Dad. Yours are the, you bought them all like from 1970, late 60s, early 70s. So your stuff is stereo reissues on the Apple label, as I recall it. That you did not have it. By the time you started buying albums, as you told me, in the late 60s, mono, everything was pretty much, so the albums you had were stereo copies. Most of them were all on the Apple label, as I recall. Your albums, which are still in there, they were all on the Apple label, so they were not mono because they were kind of phased out by then. Owen says it's Fly Away. Paul, I prefer if the book flew away. Well, we're definitely not going to be reading that one. Back to Nick's here. I don't think there's a need to. I don't think there's a need to take a shot at Pepper. Would it be interesting? Yeah. Let's keep Pepper on the shelf as it was. We got that wonderful box set in 2017. When you put on and you hear the drums rolling on the beginning of Pepper, and you're like, wow, this is a great remix. I think we should leave Pepper alone. I think we should. My own opinion. I think I'd like to see that David agrees too. Yes, Exactly. Hopefully. Hopefully. Opinion on Red Mono Japan. Have CD box Empress Valley. I don't know enough about that to give you one, Jim. I do know. I actually ripped it the other day. It's on behind my shoulder over there, above the Beatles singles collection. On Amazon, I got the Japan box set, the of all the albums, the Japan box. That I think I got for $30. That was pretty cheap, and it was all the Japan Beatle pressings in the early. So like their version of Meet the Beatles, their version of Beatles' second album, which was Beatles number 2, then an album called Beatles number 5 with the Beatles 65 cover. I got that on Amazon ages ago for like $30. So I don't know if that's gone up in price at all, but I got it. It's next to the Mind Games cube there, if you can see it. Well, I am, but that record is, I don't really consider it a Genesis record. I'm sorry. Congo is about all I could do. All due respect to Rutherford and Banks, but I just can't get my head around that one. And Ray Wilson, I think, is a great singer in his own right, but he wasn't given a chance to follow up Phil and do a Genesis record. He's a great singer, but that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I can't do that one. He did. But I can't. That one. Calling all stations. I can't get behind that one. Shay. Well, our good friend Kyle Hand, who's not here today, he's told me that there's in the works is that there's going to be a documentary of some sorts on Shay coming out. Wouldn't that be nice? Hopefully. I remember watching it and renting it from the V8. There was that quasi-legal version of the Beatles Live at Shea. It was horrible quality, but it was out there. Japan EAS LP stereo box, perfect for aging ears. Okay. I don't have all those, Especially, I have a couple foreign pressings, but not a ton. That Japanese box, and a couple of them. Let me go back here. Tom said, Old Brown Shoe from the remastered Blue has a lot of previously on her vocals, but not like Walrus. Yes, agreed. 40. Hello, 40. Hi, Andy. I got the US 64 box set, and the Made in France sticker caused alarm bells. Lo and behold, 4 of the discs have more skips than Malcolm McLaren's double ditch. Oof. Now, I don't know if anybody follows the In Groove, a Mike from the In Groove, which is a great record store in Phoenix, Arizona, that Tom introduced me to when I went out there, and he did a video of showing the box set also, and a lot of the records were very dirty, like really, really dirty. Like he had to put them through a cleaning process, and Mike knows his stuff. I think I met the guy once, but they were very, very dirty, and I don't know if anybody's played them yet, if they've skipped like this, but that I don't like. That's not, I don't like hearing that at all. But thanks for being here this morning, 40. We Can't Dance, great record. Phil's last one. Driving the Last Spike. My favorite track on that album. Hi, Ralph. I like calling all stations except some of the tracks have weird fade outs. Okay, I wouldn't know. I've listened to it maybe once. Fading, absolutely. I was fortunate enough to see them do Fading Lights into their set list in 2021. It was part of a medley with In the Cage, which was great. Skips. We pay good money for this stuff, and it skips. Inexcusable. Anybody going to Record Store Day, Black Friday Record Store Day? Yes, I Want to Hold Your Hand is out there. Susan, much props and respect to you for getting up the day after Thanksgiving, but that ain't happening. That is not happening at all. But I wish you luck, and hopefully you don't have to wait too long in line, and I hope you get a copy. Tony's getting it as well. Jim, any rumors about Paul's last concert specials in the works? Nothing yet. He's just going to keep on keeping on. Bill said that his mono set records were clean and did not skip. Good. Brad, what do I use? Yes, you too. And I'm winding down shortly in a couple minutes. Wow, it's been an hour and 10 minutes already. What a great chat today. Couple more minutes, we'll stay on. But Tom, to you and your family and your son James, who just launched his brand new website, James Liverani. Go check it out. If you're in the area and you need somebody to do some photography work for you, give his website a check. You know, he's a great friend and a very, very well-trained musician and just a good guy. So give his new website a check out. Brad, not so much anymore because I've kept them clean, but back in the day, you know what I used to use is rubbing alcohol and paper towel, especially from especially my dad's records from the 60s. You know, over decades, dirt builds up in the grooves and stuff like that. So my uncle actually told me that rubbing alcohol works really good, and it does. Get a little paper towel, get the rubbing alcohol, you pour it on there, and it really, really cleans the records really well. You'd be amazed at the dirt that comes out of older records. I haven't had too much problem as well with new records. Touch wood. That's another UK thing too. Not knockwood, touch wood. Have been okay. Material World plays fine. Meet the Beatles, Blue Vinyl plays fine. Didn't skip. Been pretty good. Yes, I'm going to get the new Lamb box set. And it's funny, I was listening to that the other day. Now, I have the Genesis Box Live 70 to 75, the vinyl, which is around 2008 or 7 that came out. And my copy of the Lamb skips a lot. And that pissed me off. You know, because I've only played that thing maybe a dozen times, and it shouldn't be skipping that much. That one skips a lot. That annoys me. But yes, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, coming out in March of 2025. Wish it was kind of now. Maybe not now, because we're so saturated with Beatles product, but yeah. Tap water with an anti-static cloth, which I have. I have like microfiber cloths, which if I see something really, really bad, I'll use that. But tap water, okay. Good to know. Dino V, thanks for being here today, brother. See you soon, somewhere across the universe. Mazzy, if your records are skipping, check your table settings first. There's Norman Maslov, who's got a great channel as well. Check him out. He's done all kinds of videos of all kinds of genres on there, but recently he did the Beatles stuff as well too, and gave you his take on the records as well. Check your table settings first. That'll fix most issues. Search YouTube for instructions. Yeah, and you got to have a decent turntable to do that. You do. What's up with these vinyl box shortages? I don't know. That and shipping delays? I don't know. What's going to wind it down here in a minute? Thanks for being here, MBT. Visible Touch, good record. Hold on. Mazzy, nice of you to join us here. The legend, Norman Maslov. Bill, yes, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. I guess I'm going to wind it down now. I just want to make sure I get all the comments here. Matt says, I have a Fluence 2-side brush, catches dust on one side, removes static on the other. There's always dust. Yes, there is. So we'll see what these new mono albums look like. What was that one about the in-groove? Oh, Tony mentioned this one. He said 97% of the orders couldn't be fulfilled. Yes, that's not encouraging. So if there's shortages for Beatles product, what chances do newer artists have to get their vinyl out there? If there's delays in shipping and manufacturing Beatles product, then a younger working musician or band's not going to have a hope in hell getting their album out there. Damn, that's not good. You have one of your favorite books. Yes, absolutely. The discs were all clean. Unlike Mike's in-grooves where the pressings were bad, the second album was slightly warped. Did you receive... No, I have not received that yet. I ordered it about a month ago, but almost a month ago, but I haven't received it yet. Tisk. But I have not got that yet. Happy Thanksgiving to the MVP. That's right. So, have a great week, friends. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes. So, I'm going to wind down. It is almost 10 to 1 here on the East Coast in America. Thank you all for another lovely Sunday chat. 55 of you on here right now for an hour and 15 minutes. Wow. Fantastic chat. Great conversations. I'm not going to go through the list and thank everybody. I can't because there's so many of you on here today, but thank you for being here. You know, just about every Sunday around 11:30, I will be here talking Beatles and everything else that comes across our plate. So everybody for tuning in today, thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you next week here on Two Legs for the Sunday live chat, the Sunday Familia. Now go make a little Sunday sauce, a little Sunday gravy, Watch your favorite football team. Go Liverpool. And we'll see you next week. Enjoy. Peace out, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.